Atlanta United family, to another episode of Resurge The Spike ATL here with our usual guest, Tommy and James. But we are joined by a very, very special guest that we don't, I mean, we see her on TV basically every week, but to have her here, to be able to talk to us, is really unique. Thank you, Jillian. Thank you for the time that you've given us today to be here on the podcast. So
Oh, thank you guys for asking me. I
yeah,
mean that.
yeah. So with that being said, obviously I'm pretty sure like everybody that I have on Twitter already follows Jillian, but you could also follow Tommy at Let's School Ducks 96 and James. I forgot your Twitter name, but
Yeah, Kyle don't miss 26.
yeah, all right,
I mean, there, Kyle Cover.
yeah. So with that being said, Tommy, I know you had a question for Jillian, something that you told me that you were
Oh,
the
just
one.
throwing me at the beginning. Okay.
Yeah, man.
Well, I guess to start with MLS. How did you get into MLS?
Sure. So just want to say thank you to you guys for doing this. I think that these different types of chats and different types of podcasts and places for people to, one, be fans, but also just talk about MLS and Atlanta United are really important. And we all do it in different ways, but they're just so important for the league's growth and for Atlanta United to continue to have the type of fans that they do. So thank you guys for everything. It's fun to be on here today. But how I got into MLS is I was a fan of MLS. I watched it. I played soccer growing up, and I was working in sports, and just some opportunities presented themselves back in 2015, and I jumped on it. It was to cover the Portland Timbers in a one-off game for Decision Day. And they were on the brink of missing the postseason for the second straight time under then coach Caleb Porter. Porter then maybe fired, who knows? Had history gone differently to be this phenom college head coach and to come in and they weren't like a shoe-in. It was one of those like Decision Day type of things. So then that was it. And they did all but that. They went on to win MLS Cup that year. So I kind of solidified my role within the league a little bit because I got some extra chances to kind of show what I could do. And I loved it right away. And I loved the players, and the fans were the best part. So I was hooked. And then in, 2018, I got the job with Atlanta United.
It's awesome. I mean, I didn't get into MLS until around 2017, but the league has had to change so much since you got in there. I mean, obviously the media just continues to grow, and there's the new contract starting with Apple. How's the league changed since you came in?
So I would say that I haven't seen change is definitely a good word to use in terms of growth, but it's always been, I think, what makes it special. The fact that I think that the fans do things like this, hang out on a Thursday night and just chat. They do things like barbecues, or they do things like, I remember when I met the Portland Timbers fans my first time, they're like, oh, we do, I think it was like soup kitchens, the Timbers Army said on Tuesday. And I was like, who are these fans that hang out outside of game day and sometimes hang out 5 times a week? So I thought that was really, really special. And I think that that's grown, and that outreach has poured out into other fans, like an Atlanta Falcons fan. And they're like, oh, actually, like, this is really cool, and I'm going to give it a chance. And I think that that's been the biggest thing, to your point, is people giving it a chance. And then I think once they do, a lot of people see how unique it is. And it's a good community, I really think, to be a part of outside of what's even happening on the field. And I don't know how many American sports can say that.
Yeah.
So, I have a question. That's dealing more, with the team itself. Obviously, you're there basically around the team when it's actually game day and stuff like that. So my biggest question is what, like, going from last year, to what Pineda, to how Pineda grabbed this team basically mid-August how they made that short run in the playoffs. And going into this year with all the injuries, all the stuff that's happened, hitting, if you want to say, an all-time low with the defeat against Austin. Do you see Gonzalo Pineda being that guy to have that fire, or that's wanting to bring out that fire from the team? At times, you kind of see him be, I guess, somewhat passive. But I don't know, something must have changed Saturday night. But I just want to get your opinion or thoughts on that.
Yeah, and I think that with any manager, especially a manager in their first head coaching role, while we learn about them, they're also learning about themselves, right? I know from covering Seattle what type of player Gonzalo Pineda was, and also what type of assistant coach he was, which was fantastic and beloved. And I think he's having a similar start here in Atlanta, but it's been tough. It's been tough. He has to pick up a team that was really broken at the end of last year, after the departure of Gabriel Heinze, then Rob Valentino doing what he did midseason, and then Gonzalo's got to come in, and then he finally gets his first full year with the team, and 40% of the team's salary cap is injured. So that's not an ideal start. We've seen Sporting Kansas City deal with something maybe not at the same level, but a little similar. And Peter Vermees is been coaching for over a decade, and I believe is the longest tenured head coach in Major League Soccer, and runs every bit of that Kansas City building, and they're trying to figure it out, right? So I think that one thing I've been able to tell, because I talked to Gonzalo so much, before the day before every game, and then I always feel bad. I'm bugging him 3 times a game, pregame, halftime, and postgame. And it was challenging when they were having their poor stretch, prior to last night's result. You feel like after a while you want to bring a different story, and the story wasn't changing. But I don't think that comes down to the personality of Gonzalo Pineda. I think that what you see in front of the TV is him being the leader and maybe willing to take the punches at times. But I don't think that calm, cool, collected, positive guy that you very often see on TV. I wouldn't say that that's how Gonzalo is maybe inside the locker room. We got to remember, he was a fiery player, and I believe him to be a fiery manager. But I think that maybe unlike some of the things we saw during the week, Gonzalo chooses to keep those moments private, right? In this day and age, it's okay to have privacy with the team. And it's something that we forget because we want to know everything. And I'm guilty as anybody. We want to know everything, but I don't think we have all of that insight.
Well, I was going to say, like, Ted, it seems like he's a little Ted Lasso-ish when you hear him and his responses. Like, it's just overly positive. And, I think that a lot of fans really just want to see him yell, like, be upset. And he doesn't really show that. He has shown some disappointment, in the last couple of weeks, but it was interesting just to see him in the post game after the Austin game. It just seemed like a different demeanor. And obviously everybody had to wait an hour for him. So, some stuff was going down in that room. But it was good. And, watching his post game yesterday, it seemed like a little bit of relief for him that, whatever happened in those, 3 days, a small change, because it was a completely different team. And as far as the effort that was shown on the field, it definitely seemed better across the board from everyone.
I know that he, maybe felt bad for going in on the team over the weekend. But you know what? I was here for every single part of it. I liked those comments from him. I liked that, to let that out a little bit. And, I think any of us in a moment of aggravation or disappointment wish maybe we didn't say things the way that we did. But I've done plenty of coach post-game interviews, and that was still relatively mild. But for him, to your point, that was a very assertive statement from him. And I think that the players needed to hear that. So I was very open to that.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask about like after Saturday's match, like what were you looking for yesterday on the sideline? Were you looking at like Pineda or how like we changed our style of play? Like what was the main focus of you last match?
I'm always keeping my eyes on Gonzalo in the way that he's speaking with his assistants. They all really seem to be a really cohesive team. Prior Atlanta United managers and more so MLS managers, sometimes it's the assistants and then it's the head coach and he's doing what he's doing. But it really is very collaborative, I would say. You get the sense down there from them. But I think yesterday, I got to be honest, the one thing I was really keeping my eyes on was what was Joseph's reactions not starting that game. Because when I spoke to Gonzalo, he said, yeah, we've had in the back of our mind that we've got 3 games in 8 days. Joseph coming off of, surgery to clean out his knee. Is he going to start 3 games in 8 days? Not sure. But he went with Ronaldo Cisneros, and he talked about needing more runs in from behind after the Austin game. Some similarities between Austin and RSL and the way that they play. So I was kind of also watching Joseph. Like, what is his reaction? I know Joseph Martinez now a very long time, and I know that no matter if he got off the operating table yesterday, he does not want to ever be on the bench, ever. Even if he needs to be on the bench physically, that man does not want to be on the bench. And I have to tell you, I was blown away by him. He was the first one standing up cheering when Cisneros banged in that first goal. And it was a same reaction for the second goal. So what I saw from the bench was the same thing I saw from the players on the field. It was very collective. So whatever was said again in these few days worked. But listen, it's very easy to be motivated after you burn out the way you did against Austin. That was an unacceptable performance for so many reasons that it's okay. It's understandable to be motivated now on Wednesday, but you got to bring that now this weekend, and you got to bring that for the next second half of the season. And that's the real character test.
So speaking of Joseph, I know you've been you said it before that you actually learned Spanish because of you wanted to do an interview with Joseph. I think Tommy, you told me about that. So how is that coming along? How's your Spanish coming along?
Poco a poco. It's coming along well. I knew a little bit, but Joseph would get on my case after a post-game interview, and we didn't do a lot with him. 2018 was a year that he was really, really hitting every benchmark. He was wanted by every media outlet. So even as the local broadcast team, we did not get a lot of access to Joseph. And I knew that I had to chip away in a different way. And you got to make Joseph Martinez happy. We all know that. So I think me putting myself out there the same way that he puts himself out there, we've garnered a mutual respect for each other. And it's helped get him to do interviews. Now, he's still not Mr. I'm going to do an interview once a week, but it's warmed him up a little bit, even just a little side conversation or trying to use my Spanish here and there with him. Listen, it's an English broadcast. So we're going to try to do it in English. But if it takes a little Spanish here and there, just to show that I have a ton of respect for Joseph and what he does on the field, but also how he puts himself out there for the fans, I'm happy to show some of that in return. But yes, it was thanks to Joseph that I got some extra motivation.
It's amazing when Joseph talks, just how it commands the entire MLS. I mean, like, extra time. That was the first thing that they talked about for about 15 minutes. I mean, we're one of the worst teams in MLS right now, and they're spending all this time talking about Joseph, because when Joseph speaks, everybody wants to hear, and he doesn't waste his words. When he talks, it's definitely something that you need to listen or read about. Even last year with the article with Felipe and Heinze, it was like you're just reading this article and you just can't stop reading, because it's a rare interview with Joseph, and he's completely honest. He does not have a filter. He will say whatever he needs to, and I love it when he talks. But usually when he talks, there's not good things happening.
Yeah, and here's the thing is I think he knows his role, that like Darren Eales said on radio, he's a guy that wears his heart on his sleeve, and that's what the fans love about him. But hey, I also think Joseph is strong enough that if he did disappoint his teammates, or if he did disappoint Gonzalo Pineda with what he decided to say post game, I think he's willing to take it. He's putting himself out there knowing that could happen. And you know what? Like the same way we saw Gonzalo kind of release himself Saturday night and be a little off character, which I think was very important. I think that Joseph putting himself out there was really important too, because you know what, maybe some of his I don't know this, but maybe some of his teammates are mad that he decided to go about it in that way. Like I said, there's a bit of a player code of keeping things inside very often in professional sports. And maybe that was extra motivation for some of his teammates. And you know what, I think Joseph loves that. I think it's okay if you don't agree with him. I think that he knows that and he's okay with that. I just think he wants honesty.
So speaking of sports, you've also been covering NHL. Honestly, I don't really keep up with hockey. I'm not even going to sit here and lie.
This is my
Tommy
question.
does.
This is my question, as you can tell. So you're doing summer with the Stanley Cup. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, so I actually, before I worked in MLS, I worked for the NHL. And prior to that, I covered all New York sports for a TV station, local channel called News 12 for 7 years. Yankees, Rangers, Knicks, Mets, you name it. New York City FC was just kind of starting up. So that was really fun. And my year with the NHL was because I had covered the Devils and the Islanders and the Rangers. And it led me to a really, really exciting season at NHL. And then that project, it was a digital show, fizzled out, only lasted a season. And then like what you guys are doing right now and what we're all trying to do, they're trying to like amp up their YouTube channel, and they rolled out a bunch of really exciting, really innovative shows for the postseason, which included Stanley Cup stories, like you said, which was kind of like a recap of like all the fun stuff that goes on off the ice during the playoffs. And then also third period live, which we've seen a lot in soccer, like watch along shows. And it was kind of that, like, let's watch along for the third period and have on guests like maybe a WWE wrestler who also like is into the Tampa Bay Lightning and will FaceTime him while he's at the game. And that sounds crazy, but it ended up being really fun. And it was I'm really proud of the NHL that they just kind of threw it out there and went totally for it, hiring awesome staff, hiring other incredible hosts that I got to work alongside. And they went for it. So I'm hoping they do more of it next year. And I'd love to do more of that type of stuff with soccer. But MLS, to their credit, does do watch-alongs. We've seen a lot, especially around the U.S. men's qualifiers and friendlies.
Even during COVID, it was fun what they did. I know they re-showed the MLS championship, the Atlanta United, and they had a bunch of guys, on Zoom talking about the game. So it's always interesting to see something different. And COVID definitely, expanded sports because we literally had nothing new to watch. So I definitely like those things.
Yes, for sure.
So MLS changing and obviously going to Apple. What has become of all you guys?
So I'll be fully honest. I work for Major League Soccer and I work for Atlanta United. I work for both. And we don't know the future. We know that the Apple deal is happening and how big that is. But what the landscape is going to look like is a total unknown. I'm sure there's people that make the decisions and are much higher than me that know that. And I know that they're working really hard at that. But what like the landscape is for next year, you guys honestly probably know just as much as I do. But that it's really sounding like the team jobs are gone and that there won't be two broadcasts. Like last night, there's not going to be maybe a Real Salt Lake and an Atlanta United broadcast, but a bunch of crews that are all streaming the games on Apple. So you go on Apple and you just are watching the RSL Atlanta United game, and there's a crew signed to that. But again, like none of this has been made official or been announced. And my messaging from Atlanta United has been nothing new. Just keep doing your job and having fun with Kevin and Mo. So while it's going to look different, I don't think that the decisions have been made like that, but it doesn't sound, the team jobs are because of regional contracts. Atlanta United's with Bally, or Fox South prior to them, and those we know are no longer with the Apple deal. But a great thing with the Apple deal that I'm very happy about, because I hate when it's like a Tuesday night and I'll sign on and I'm like, oh, Portland and Seattle are playing. Like, it's impossible to follow the MLS schedule, even for me. So I think the great thing is that it's going to be very synchronized, and it's going to be Wednesday and Saturday nights. And I think that's really important for the league, the way when an NFL game is on.
And it sounds like they're trying to go to the NFL type things, like having the same crews, together. And then obviously, I think they're going to have like a screen with all the games on at once. I think that at least that's something that I read, that they want to have kind of like a Sunday ticket type screen with 8 games going on. That's fun. I mean, I do that with the U.S. Open Cup. You have the option to do that, so I'd have every Open Cup game on there and watching it. And it was just nonstop excitement, which is how random those games are.
Yes, I did see something about the word whip around show has been used, which would be really fun for MLS, especially for a casual fan where maybe their team's not playing at that time, and you want to see some goals.
For sure.
So, I just want to ask, just going back somewhat to, talking specifically about Atlanta United, throughout the periods that we've had with different managers, different, I guess you want to say different styles, even, when the board came in, try to implement his style. What is something that has stuck, with the team for you, even throughout those, all those managers and players coming in and out? What's something that, ever since you've been working for Atlanta United, something that, you just know that that's always going to be there for Atlanta United no matter what? No matter it's like, just whatever, honestly.
I think that, and this might sound obvious, but I think for me, it's and I hope it stays this way, it's probably the fans. And the idea that you're going to continue to see Atlanta United gear around the city. Last night, the stadium still fills itself up on a Wednesday night after a horrid game over the weekend. And I know that I can rely on that, right? Whether it's Frank de Boer or it's Gabriel Heinze or it's Tata Martino or Gonzalo Pineda, an interim coach, like, you knew that the fans were going to show up and that they were going to be supportive. And I have no problem with being angry or disappointed with the fan base, when the fan base feels that way on Twitter, and them tweeting about it. Because you know what? There are MLS markets where when the team's doing bad or the team's doing good, nobody really cares. So I'm totally fine with that. Anyone can say whatever they want because it means that people are still engaged with the team, and that has always been a constant. I think that the Atlanta United way would be, oh, well, they're always going to be on the front foot and they're going to be scoring. And like, yes, I know that they want that to be a part of their identity. And I think that overarching, that will be a part of this franchise's identity. But you know what? When your DPs aren't all playing together, or your tackers are hurt, or it's just not working, or you're at Red Bull Arena, or whatever it is, it's okay to adjust. And I think we saw some of that last night. And I think we saw some of that like at Red Bull Arena with Gonzalo Pineda. Like, it's okay to adjust. That's just the game.
Yeah, it was good to see us, shift to the different formation after, it not working last game, and especially with the starting debut of Juanjo Peralta. If I got that right. What do you think of how he's come into the team and what you think he can do for us?
So I asked Gonzalo actually about, and me, Kevin, and Mo said the same thing. We're like, how do we say his name? It's Juanjo Peralta. So we asked about him, and that back line at Red Bull Arena and that back line at New York City FC, the average age was 21 and a half. That is very young. That's a lot of inexperience. That's not to say they're not talented, but you're going to places like Yankee Stadium and you're playing against teams like the New York Red Bulls, like two things that are difficult defensively. So I think that even though he's just 24 years old, he just kind of brings some his favorite word he said to describe himself is responsible. So he brings some responsibility to the back line. Gonzalo Pineda told me that he'll bring stability, and we already saw that last night in his first MLS start. And something that I really liked at halftime of the Austin game, he hadn't gone in yet. He was a sub, and we broke for halftime. I believe at that point Atlanta was down 2-0, and he went out and was kind of talking to the guys coming off the field. He was talking to Aiden McFadden. He was talking to Caleb Wiley, George Campbell, I believe. And it was like, that's what this team has needed, right? And it also takes some guts for a new player that just arrived a couple weeks ago to go out there and start telling a bunch of guys who've been there all year what to do. And you know what, though? That's exactly what this team needs. They are missing some of that when they lost guys like Ozzy Alonso, Brad Guzan, even Miles Robinson. I saw a big change from him after he came back from national team camp after all the World Cup qualifiers. They're missing that. So I love that from Juanjo Parada. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, especially when the defense is that young.
Yes.
They need that help.
So I know we're still basically halfway through the season, but Jillian, I just want to get your prediction on what do we see Atlanta United? Where do we see Atlanta United at the end of the season? Making a playoff run, just slipping in there slightly into the playoffs, not making it, or what realistically, what do we expect from the team right now with all the guys missing?
That's a really good question. And I think that because it's MLS and the way that it's built and, 2 more good results from Atlanta United and all of a sudden they're above the playoff line. I think that we definitely see Atlanta United make the playoffs, but who wants to make the playoffs if you're going to burn out the way that they did last year? Go in the first round, get shut out by who ended up being the reigning champ. So, right, if you're going to lose to someone, you lose to the reigning champs, but you don't want to limp into the playoffs and then limp out. So I think for Atlanta United, while I do know that I do feel that they will make the playoffs, it also helps that most teams in MLS, like half, make the playoffs. But how Atlanta United enters is going to be the key. Gonzalo Pineda knows better than anybody. In 2016, the Seattle Sounders were the worst team in MLS. They fire their head coach, Ziggy Schmidt, and they bring an interim manager, Brian Schmetzer. They bring in, I'm blanking, Nico Ladero during the summer transfer window, and they win MLS Cup. So anything in MLS can happen at the halfway point. That's my point. Now I'm not saying that's Atlanta United's path, but I'm saying it could be if they decide to do that. It's all in their hands what they want to do with the second half of the season.
So
well, thanks for hanging out, Jillian. I mean, we appreciate it.
Definitely.
I do have a favor to ask, though.
Of course.
So Kevin, I've been bugging Kevin for a while on Twitter. His WWE connections. We got to get somebody to do the Golden Spike from WWE. You got to work on it for us.
What about Kevin? Can't he just do the Golden Spike? Isn't that enough?
Yeah, come on.
I mean, he can, but he's definitely got the connections. And there's a lot of Georgia
he
guys.
Certainly does.
There's a lot of Georgia wrestlers out there, so I've been trying.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, Jillian, thank you so much for your time. We know you have a very, very busy schedule.
We all do. We all have a busy schedule, and I know you guys make time to do this every week. So I appreciate.
I'm gonna take a nap after this. So.
Oh, good for you. I'm gonna go to dinner actually.
All right. Well, we don't want to hold you any longer. Thank you.
Is there anything else that we didn't hit on that you guys wanted to hit on?
I don't think I had any more questions. I don't know, Tommy, you had anything?
Okay.
James?
I'm fine.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes,
all right.
Thanks. Take care. Bye, guys.
All right, bye, Jillian.
See you soon.
All right, guys. Well, that was that. That was lovely, wasn't it? You don't get to talk with, Atlanta United's silent reporter like every day, but hey, that was cool, man. Now, guys, going back.
American Family Insurance champions in the house, and we won. We won.
Not
Nah,
against
man.
Hartford.
Rewind that a little bit more.
To the
'Cause
moon.
we gotta hit it. We gotta. I mean, we haven't really talked about the tragedy.
No,
Get that stuff
actually,
off
no,
the screen.
seriously.
Get it
This
off
game
the
doesn't-
screen.
this
No,
game
no,
doesn't
no,
count.
no, no. Moving.
Next
All
one.
right.
Next
Get
one.
that. There we
Next
go.
one.
There we go. We're back. We're back. We're talking. No
There we go.
negativity. No Pineda out shit. Nothing. We're gonna be positive for the rest of
No
the day.
Boca
Let's
2020 roster moves, please.
Yeah. We won.
Yeah.
Hey, seriously. I mean, I was more than impressed. Honestly, I was expecting another 3-0. I really was. I'm not gonna lie. With that lineup that we came out, Joseph, being uh on the bench. Eventually, it all turned out well. There was moments, yeah. I mean, the end of the first half. I think I said it on Twitter Spaces yesterday. I mean, the end of the first half, we were shaky. The end of the second half as well, we were shaky. We were there, like just basically holding on to the result. But ended up actually beating a team that's in a playoff spot for once. So
Oh, isn't that
lovely?
We need a second win against playoff team.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. Last season, at the end of the year, if it was close like this,
Did
we blew it. We blew it. We absolutely blew those games. New York City. That was the thing that got New York City basically on a roll again to win. They hadn't scored in 5 games, and all of a sudden they draw against us. We allow a last-second goal. It happened 3 or 4 times at the end of the year where we would blow it at the end. So it was nice to see them be able to finish up. But yeah, I was scared. I was real scared.
Yeah, don't worry, Josh. We're only in that train for 5 seconds. We hopped right back out of there.
I wasn't allowing that negativity in here today.
I mean, I think Pineda finally, he kind of switched up this game. I mean, what Mike Conti calls the Peachtree press. I mean, it really showed up, and there was 4 or 5 chances where clear cut. You can tell where this team, they win the ball back quickly and they immediately get ready to pass the ball. I mean, Alan Franco had that fantastic pass that led to the Almada shot off the post, as well as Sadic's ball to Chol at the end of the game. But I mean, yeah, I looked at Amar Sadic in the lineup and I thought, okay, here we go. But Amar Sadic had probably the best center mid performance of the season. Yeah, he earned his spot in the starting lineup on Sunday. But I mean,
he can't play against pressing teams, though. He cannot. Sadic is absolutely terrible.
Yeah, he had just so much
pressure
space
on him.
Yeah, he had so much space. That's why, I guess, pressing team. That's fair argument. But I mean, RSL, they played a similar shape to Austin. They tried to condense the team when we played, in that slow build up that we're used to. But yeah, we caught them on the counter. We caught them with the press, and it really caught them off guard. And it prevented us from just watching us pass around looking for something to do. And defensively, it was a lot better. Some tough marking for a free header again, but I mean, it's just positive when you have so much space. The midfield can press because they have that buffer behind them. Wiley and McFadden can push up the field and they can play how they're supposed to, because Wiley's supposed to be a left winger. And Pineda said it on 92.9 today. He's like, Wiley's my guy that I want to get in behind to play in that left wing position. But we chose Cisneros for this game because that's what he can do. And yeah, the runs were just, they were a lot better and they fought. That's really all they needed. And time for Orlando, which should be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you were mentioning Wiley. I mean, honestly, man, he's young, and I mean, obviously, RSL is not, the Red Bulls or NYFC or the Sounders or any good. Well, we haven't played the Sounders yet, or Austin. But against these good teams, he's obviously doesn't have the experience, to be, able to read some stuff. But I mean, I was really impressed, with how he dealt with, more on the offensive side. I feel like he's more of a complete player in that aspect, in my opinion. I don't know about you guys, if there's anybody that really stood out other than, Cisneros with the 2 goals, or obviously Almada. Almada's just,
that was his best game, probably. The numbers aren't there for it, but I mean, it's just class.
Yeah, I mean the guy is just able to pick out a pass out of anything, out of
Mhm.
nothing basically.
And,
He's got
and
that.
Moreno didn't, have his best game offensively, but he worked hard in the midfield and he helped the guys out defensively a couple times, and I like that motor from him. That's what we needed.
Yeah,
Campbell to
Moreno
me
came
was
back and made that one. I think it was in the first
Yeah,
half. Like he
huge
came
stop.
all the way to the back and helped prevent something. I think just George was back there with him, and they took care of the scoring chance. Campbell was one of my guys that I really enjoyed watching yesterday. There was a point where he was all the way almost all the way forward. Like
Yeah,
he just ran all the way up, and it was fun to watch.
he's interesting to me because when I'm at the game, I can I see a little bit more, and I watch Campbell, and he's always ready to press someone, which is interesting playing out of the center back position. But when there's an entry pass towards the midfield, Campbell's always ready to step, and that's really interesting to me. And he has those dribble runs. I mean, he's a defensive midfielder, back whenever, and yeah, he gives you those LGB type runs. I feel like, and he showed his technical ability there, but the passing mistake, he didn't have one this one time. But yeah, I'm interested in why Pineda, like, he tells him to press really fast out of the line but today he had cover. Amar Sage was always there to cover for his press, but that's an interesting role for Campbell.
Yeah, I'm interested to see just in general how this team continues to play because I think one thing we were talking about on Spaces last night was players playing hero ball, right? Like
Yeah.
them wanting to get it, and we've seen very few moments where we've seen team goals. We've just seen guys just have just some crazy goal. I mean, even last season, Barco was just making fantastic shots left and right, and we never really saw team goals. And Machop tried. Machop tried to
Very
make that nice
close.
that pass to
Not a great
Joseph,
pass,
which
but close.
if he would have had a nice first touch there, he probably could have scored. But he stumbled there for a second. But
Yeah.
like the old Atlanta United teams, the good Atlanta United teams, you would just see like everybody knew where they were. It was a series of great passes that led to that goal. We saw that. We saw the press, which automatically got the ball to the next guy to make the pass to score the goal. Like that was nice to see. And if we can continue to see that, and also that helps when you have a team that's consistent playing together. I think that those type of goals will continue to happen.
Yeah, I mean, what he says about George Campbell, like he had that big run and then he just gave the ball away. It was like, dude, you got to do something great after that huge run he took. But,
Yeah.
yeah, both of the goals were, kind of different from what we've seen this year because they were both pretty well strung together. And Cisneros actually knew how to dribble.
So, I mean, just overall, do you guys were surprised that Rocco got the start over Gudinho?
No, no, and I think Godinho's going to have to earn. I mean, I'm sorry, Godinho's not going to have to earn it. I think that Rocco is going to have to lose it. I know that he's here, and they obviously want to give him a chance, and maybe they do. Maybe they give Rocco a game off. I doubt it at this point, but they talk very highly of what he can do, and he's got a unique skill, right? Like he's definitely good at moving the ball up and running to midfield. It feels like when you watch him, but I think that Rocco's going to have a pretty bad game for him to sneak in, and I don't know if we see that anytime soon, but. It wouldn't be a shock if I did see him against Orlando, just because, maybe he needs a break.
I mean, but yeah, I mean, why not keep him out there if he's played all those matches for you? I mean, just to keep him rolling. And his passing is just fantastic. And, none of the goals like last night, it's not his problem. What's he supposed to do from there?
No, that definitely was
Make a
not on.
dive? Like,
Yeah.
he should try. He's like, what is he supposed to do?
See, and I disagree with Josh. If you could put his comment up there, like, I don't think you don't know. I mean, I know that we know what he's done with other teams, but this is Atlanta United. This isn't another team, and Rocco's here first, and he's got that very short seniority. and he's earned it, and he's
Senior
he
mustache.
hasn't been terrible, and he's got the best mustache in MLS. I mean, you can't argue that. So I think maybe it happens here because he has played 2 games, but I mean Guzan never got any real breaks during the regular season. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, Pineda could also reward Gudino with starting a game because he is working hard in practice. I don't know.
When are we playing AmFam Cup again?
Yeah, we should have another friendly.
Yeah, right.
Seriously, I know that's crazy, man. You have all these mid-game weeks. Charlotte's playing Chelsea Wednesday. DC's playing Bayern Munich Wednesday as well.
Orlando and Arsenal next week.
Yeah, Inter Miami is playing Barcelona. Like,
yeah, quick note about that. The season ticket note came out today, like the benefits and stuff, and the AmFam Cup isn't a free game. So if that means anything, it probably doesn't. But
it's not, or it is.
It's not a season ticket included. No. You have to pay for it. That's
well. So have they said anything about the Leagues Cup? Like, is that part of?
They said there will be home matches at Mercedes-Benz, but you'll have your seat, but I think you have to pay for it at a season ticket. I think you're only guaranteed the 17 home games, as well as free away tickets, which I don't know how that's gonna go, but that's definitely.
I mean, that's sweet. Like, I mean, obviously, you probably have to prove yourself to have the ticket or something like that. Come to Ohio, man. Come to Ohio.
Yeah, I'm going to the Cincinnati match in August.
Bummer, man. That's the only game I can't go. I've been to every Cincinnati Atlanta game, and it's the one I'm not going to.
I mean, I'm excited to go to TQL, so that'll be
it's a nice stadium.
Columbus might be a stretch because I got family in Ohio, so.
I have to take my kid to Machine Gun Kelly concert and Avril Lavigne. That's what I'll be doing that day.
Oh man.
Well, guys, we have Orlando coming up. I actually didn't make a banner for that. Totally forgot. But we have Orlando coming up Sunday on ABC, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah. That's on ABC at 3. So that's a big game. I guess
3-1, we win. 3-1, we win.
Damn, like that.
This feels like when we got in that role where we played DC and Orlando and we smacked them both. I don't know. I feel that right now.
Well, sorry, Ariel. I mean, I have some receipts here for you. Some receipts from when that lineup came out from that entire group chat. I'm like, Cisneros, everybody.
Definitely. Everybody was telling me like about the tweets that I was posting out. They're like, "Oh, this aged very well."
I mean, I could check, but I think I said he's playing centrally ... and that's it. And I was like, maybe he can do something centrally. But yeah, I mean, Joseph against Orlando. I mean, a goal. I say it every single time he plays, and he just keeps scoring. A goal's bound to happen.
I was hammered at that game, by the way.
Yeah, that's what we did then.
No, that's not the one you said you were screaming at the fans in front of you. You were like screaming at the national anthem. I think that was at a national.
Oh no, that was at a USA game. Yeah. No, I think the one in the summer was the game. Ronald Hernandez got a goal. Everybody was out. Guzan and them were all at the U.S. It was international break. And some random dude just spilled beer all over my kid and just started hugging him. And it was wild. It was just absolutely wild.
Did you go to the Decision Day one?
I did go to Decision Day. And I actually hung out with like 15 people from Terminus Legion. It was a ton of fun. They traveled very well during that game here.
I'm excited to have Decision Day actually in Atlanta for once. Because I don't remember the last time we really did. But it's against NYC.
So James, your prediction against Orlando?
4-0.
4-0.
Or maybe I'll do a 5-1 and Pato scores a penalty. That's it.
Damn.
Joseph scores maybe 4, maybe 3. Depends on what he feels. And then, yeah, I don't know.
So, have you been drinking? Do you need another shot?
No. We could have gotten realistically. We should have scored 4 goals yesterday. Am I wrong? the way we played?
Nah, definitely. I mean, Cisneros, there was one that
there.
in the first half, Almada hit the woodwork. I think.
And besides
Yeah,
the
there was.
pieces and crosses, we're chilling on defense. And I mean, I think I don't know. Actually, Caleb Wiley might have a rough go against Torres, but we
I'm
should
interested to see
win.
how Aruju changes
I
his demeanor, because I think that he's. I mean, we to be fair, I talked a lot of crap about Amada and how he was selfish and got himself suspended for those 3 games. You got to call out Aruju because of these yellows that got him suspended. It's 5 to get suspended, right?
5.
I would guarantee you that at least 4 of those were him throwing a temper tantrum, because
yeah.
he's known for it, and it's a different temper tantrum than Pity, right? Like when Pity went down, he just went to the ground and like just laid there for a while. This temper tantrum is walking away from the ref, screaming at the ref, kicking the ball away from a player, fighting for the ball on the sideline. Like he just always looks like a baby that was told no. Like he just walks, like he just makes his face, and it's like he's got to calm down. And I think that his emotions, he would be a better player maybe if he held his emotions a little bit more in check, because he can definitely. And in MLS, I think we've learned that the refs are garbage, and it just things aren't going to go well for you. But as soon as you start getting an argument with the refs, or you get known for arguing with refs, they don't take well to it, and they know that you're a guy that's going to mess with them, and they're going to give you a yellow faster. Like it seems like that's how it is in MLS. So I hope that he comes back rejuvenated, and whatever was said in that locker room also changed him, because we saw it change in a lot of players. We saw a lot of guys giving second efforts or just better efforts overall. How does that 3-0 loss affect him? And that's honestly the thing that I'm most excited for this game, because I'm hoping we get the Aruju that we've been waiting for all season, where we all thought that he could be, fighting for a league MVP, and we have not seen anything close to it.
Yeah, it's just gonna be interesting because if Pineda's got his head screwed on right, we're going with the same formation. And I don't know, looking at Marcelino Moreno's and Almada's like heat map, they were just all over the place. And I don't know, Arujo is a guy that he can play 90 minutes and he can fight for you the whole time. But I mean, he really just stays. I don't know. Does he? Who do you think out of, if we play with the same shape, we're gonna have 3 out of the 4? I think Moreno might get the sit again, especially he played 90 minutes to my knowledge. So, but
yeah, I don't think he got subbed out.
I mean, he was listed as left winger. He kind of didn't play left wing. I mean, sometimes, but I don't know. It's
Like he was
confusing.
more central.
Everyone was just everywhere. Speaking of that game, because of the press and how chaotic it was, like the only 3 players that were consistent were the wing backs and Cisneros. So it's an interesting shape. And maybe if Pineda, he only does it when someone's out for the match and he plays with 2 center backs, then I don't know. We'll lose, but we'll have all 4 of them out there to watch.
I mean, and this is rough to do, but if you really take a moment and think about the last 4 games that we played, you go back to Red Bull Arena. Overall, pretty good game until Wiley takes a silly penalty. New York, it wasn't the greatest performance, but it was a performance, and they fought back and they got a draw. And then obviously you look at the complete disaster of Austin, but then you look to yesterday, 3 out of the 4 last games, like we live in the moment, right? And the only thing that we really remember, nobody remembers the New York games. Everybody just wants to talk about the Austin game. If you really look at it in a 4-game span, this team hasn't been terrible for what we have to deal with. And I think that people, we live in a hot take world right now, and everybody's got a hot take, especially one of our chats that we're in, right? Like everybody's got that hot take. Ariel immediately when seeing that lineup yesterday.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
but
like, we supposed to react to that though. I mean, because those guys have been, they haven't been it, and then they turned it up yesterday. I mean, we should have known with that referee. We've never lost with that center ref. If we really want to think about that, And also what else?
I mean, for me, honestly, it was like how you were saying,
should've
more of
known.
like the attitude problem.
Yes,
Honestly,
we should have known from the team talk. That went like an hour and a half. We should have known this team was gonna play better.
Well, and I think that, like Joseph, I think the media is smarter than that. I didn't like how Felipe tried to poke the bear and tweet out, is it resting Joseph, or is it punishing him? It's like, get out of here, man. Like, since Joseph had the surgery, he does not play 3 games in 8 days. It doesn't happen, but you're gonna poke. And I don't think there's a lot for actually Felipe really to, I was my fear was Joseph was going to do like a one-on-one with Felipe this week, and it was just going to blow up again, like, because it happened last time. But it really does seem like when people are saying, is he getting punished? Like, he agreed with everything Pineda said. Like, they agreed 100% on like everything. Like, yeah, this team has no passion. Like, we're not trying hard. They agreed, and I think that they're working together to get everyone on the same page. So, I just didn't like that Felipe put that tweet out there.
I mean, this fan base is so reactionary. So they weren't even thinking about the New York games during Austin.
Right.
They were thinking about Darlington Nagbe, Tito Villalba, and Julian Gressel. That's what they were thinking about.
And when you see a team like this, when you see a team that's this young, you are going to have your ups and downs, and you're going to have a game where you maybe win, like on this Sunday when we win 3-1 or 7-0, as James said. It's you're gonna for all those games, you're gonna have a few that you just get absolutely destroyed. Who knows what happens? Like, we could win 3-0 on Sunday and then get absolutely rocked by the Galaxy. Like, that could happen. And I think you really need to just keep looking at the span of games and, just seeing what's been the overall performance. I mean, we're going to get outmatched. I think there's just no, doubt about it. There's some teams that just have way more talent than us right now because of what we have to throw out there. And you can't always throw a C+ squad against an A squad and get a result. It doesn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, especially with LA Galaxy and Orlando, they've done it all year. I mean, Orlando lost 5-3 to DC United, who got beat 7-0 by Philadelphia. And then they go on to beat like one of the better teams in the league. And also with LA Galaxy, I mean, they beat who they beat? They destroyed Montreal. They destroy all these other teams. They beat LAFC in the Open Cup, and then they lose to the Sacramento Republic, and then they lose to LAFC in the regular season. But I mean, this league is just crazy. It's inconsistent, and that's why it's so good. Because I don't know, anyone can win and anyone can lose.
Except, this isn't the Premier League, baby. This isn't the Premier League.
Like, yeah,
that's what's great about it.
They lost to freaking Houston, 3-0. Like, I don't know. It's crazy.
So, I mean, you guys saying or wins.
Do it.
Still haven't given my prediction. Shit, I'm going to say 2-1. No, I'm going to say a 2-1. Atlanta wins.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be a pretty match. I don't think it's going to be anything like we saw last game. If anything, we're going to have to grind it out. Like, if anything, I mean, and that's something that I haven't really seen, and not that I want to see that from Atlanta United, but there's matches or, certain opponents that you just have to play dirty against, man. You just got to play tough. Obviously, Orlando is considered a rival, but I don't personally. I think the players, kind of have to, take that into consideration. Basically, that you're going into a rivalry game. You're basically 3 points below the playoff line. I'm not gonna say a lot as on the line as of yet, but I mean, you got to start picking up these points sooner or later if you want a chance of something happening. At the end of the season, you make the playoffs. So,
yeah, especially when it's a winnable game like Sunday. I mean, are Orlando dealing with suspension or injury? I doubt it, but I mean, they have that keeper, isn't that Galice? Is his name?
Yeah, I agree. Yes,
He could drop like a 10 out of 10 against us. I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't know. It could go either way. So
I mean, I don't know. Something tells me, or I don't know, man.
you have to come
I
out
just
with
totally forgot about like the whole Joseph remarks and everything. Even though we were just talking about it, man, gonna come out on fire, bro. He's about to school these guys.
better.
Hattie on the way.
I mean, you need to come out with that same intensity you did on Wednesday. That's basically it.
So, guys, anything else you want to add before we head out? We're about to hit the hour mark. So,
Excited for Mascara to come in.
We totally forgot to mention this.
He gets his visa.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of expected that,
Mhm.
if, with all the issues they have. But like, it'll be exciting to see when he eventually gets here. He's going to be, the super sub, I guess, right now. We'll see what he can do here. But if they're really saying that, I like what they're saying about him, that he attacks people, and he's not afraid to just go against defenders. Some of our guys seem like they are sometimes. So it should be interesting to see what he can. He's fast, which is good. So we'll see if he's Jurgen Damm fast.
Mm-hmm.
Almost didn't get it this time. But yeah, it should be fun to see him come in, because someone said Machop isn't ready. I mean, dude was injured. He had a couple good moments under Heinze. I mean, I think he start the first game of the season last year, or maybe he was a sub last year against Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think he needs this to see some opportunities. Obviously, multiple coaching staffs see something in him, but we just don't get to see it because all we ever see is him come in for maybe a minute or two. But he's probably doing some nice stuff in practice if they're trusting him. And he's best friends with Moreno, right? Like that's got to do something for you, James.
Yeah. I'm not. Wait, am I the big Moreno fan? Really?
I thought you were a big Moreno guy.
A little bit more than most people. Most people don't know what they're watching, and we're stupid.
You said it.
I did. If you don't like Moreno, you're weird.
All right.
Oh, he just dribbles. Okay. What is he supposed to do when everyone else isn't running? They're just standing there.
He's got to play hero ball, baby. He's got to play hero ball.
Play hero ball.
Tell him, Doug. All right, guys. Well, hold up. Let me put this on. It's Moreno's. Josh talking about he's Moreno's biggest fan.
Tyler, who I do spaces with after the game, he's a huge Moreno guy, man.
He is.
You can't talk any negativity about Moreno. He'll go after you there.
Well, there's nothing negative to talk about. That's the problem.
Man, we had it's funny. I was trying to figure out, like, do we get more people listening after a win or like a loss? Maybe it was like a weekend or something like that. But we had like 1,500 people after that Austin game, total, that like listened to. I was like, holy shit! Like, people are pissed. And like, usually people don't listen to it afterwards too much. A ton of people listened afterwards. Like, it was crazy. We didn't have nearly as much. I don't know if it was the weekend or because it's during the week and we won. But it's always interesting to see if you get more people listening because of wins or losses.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna have to. You have more people wanting to talk shit more than anything, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and Ariel was hammered on Saturday on the spaces.
Dude, that's the reason why I'm sick. Like, seriously, I was walking
a couple times on you.
I was walking back from the stadium, dude, and it was storming like so bad. I didn't have a raincoat, no umbrella, nothing, and I walked back, and then I was on Twitter Spaces with you guys, so I didn't have no time to like change clothes or anything. So I'm sitting there like soaking wet, like with the air conditioner on. Ended up getting sick. So yeah, that's that.
Your lady was yelling at you on Spaces in the background. I'm trying to mute you to try to save you from embarrassment down there. But yeah, we heard that. It was fun.
Oh man!
And I got you to chug a beer on Facebook Live. You're
welcome. Yeah, time for that.
He's got a beer in his hand, and I tell him to chug it, and he starts chugging it, and I show it to my wife, and she's like, wasn't he the one that was really hammered that one time on that show? And I go, yeah. He
That
goes,
one
why are
time.
you doing this to him? Why are you doing this to him? I'm like, I
That
want to see
one
the world
time.
burn. I want to see the world burn. But you did a
World
good job.
star.
You
You want to
chugged
see
it
me on
hard,
World
man.
Star?
Yeah,
I was
you're
proud of you. I mean,
investigative reporter in the tunnel there.
Dude, I was so mad. Like seriously, bro, that had me so mad. But and that even the employees from the stadium, they're like, I wouldn't come out too after I got my ass whooped that bad. I'm like, damn. Seriously, there was like 2-3 guys from security that were telling us that they were like, they're not gonna come out, bro. I wouldn't come out either after I got my ass whooped like that. I'm like, all right, guys.
Well, every game you've gone to, like, haven't they gotten destroyed?
Yeah. Literally,
I think it's you. I'm pretty sure it's you.
Nah.
At this point.
How
many players get injured when you go to games? I need to know those stats.
Yeah, Wednesday was nice and quiet. I didn't hear any
Well,
ruckus from where.
No, the Kansas game. What was it? The home opener. I think that's the only one we won that I've been to.
I was there. That was because I was there.
All right, Tommy. Nah, but
I was at
seriously,
that game.
ever since last year, I mean, Columbus, we lost. Kansas this home opener, but all the other games that I've been to, and even the Charlotte game that I was gonna go to at Charlotte, we ended up losing that. So I guess I gotta stop going to the games, man. Just for my own
I've only
safety.
been to one loss in Atlanta. I think I've been to 5. I think we're 4-1 when I'm there.
I love that I go there all the time, so I don't have to worry about a curse or anything. I don't care, except for the Kulo Torres shirt. That one, I'm not. No, maybe I should bring it out. Maybe I should wear it. Maybe they'll win if I wear it, but they haven't. Yeah.
My favorite moment of Kubo, just randomly before we go here, and I don't think anyone has ever started a sentence with my favorite Kubo moment, but it is in that Columbus game where we ended up winning on the road. He was like just time wasting in the corner, and there was like 50 drunk Atlanta United fans, in the away supporter section, and I got a Kubo chant started, and everybody was chanting Kubo, and my wife looks at me and she goes, "You hate this guy." And I go, "Yeah." "You started a chant for him." "Yeah." "Why?" I'm like, "Because this is awesome." And then I tweeted him every game after that, "If you score a goal, I'll get a tattoo and I'll put Kubo, hide it in there somewhere." He never scored. But he scores for Orange County, whatever. Orange County Peaches or whatever every week, or Oranges.
So many chances, dude. I just remember I was so excited. All the people in my section were like, "Dude, I don't even know who this guy is," and you're freaking cheering for him. He's a legend. Yeah. It's just like me with Hyman too. I don't know.
The Hyman.
All right.
Hyman love. Well, guys, Tommy, James, will follow these guys. Follow Tommy on Twitter. Let's go Ducks96, and follow James at Kyle Don't Miss. What is it? 26.
Don't follow me. Just block me before it's too late.
All right. Well, yeah, just block him, guys. Don't follow him. All right, guys. Well, we'll see whenever we can come on next week. See, hopefully we can get somebody on.
We play.
I'll be maybe I could go live in Orlando. I'll be in Orlando, and we'll beat Orlando, and then I'll be in the home of Orlando. So
there you go. Do we have a midweek match next week? Do anybody? No.
No. We just play Sunday and then play the Galaxy the following
next Sunday. Yeah.
And then we play
like
Seattle at home. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going 3-0 in that span.
Seattle.
Yeah, I'm going to that game against Seattle. Yeah, what is that, like August 6th?
5th. Yeah.
See, that's what you do. You have to try to pick the games that you think they're gonna win. That's what I do. When I pick a game, I either want to go to the first game of the season. I'm glad I went to the first game because technically someone put down there Aruju got injured, but we were the healthiest that we were in that game.
That was the happiest we were this whole entire season.
It was so fun.
Wiley scored oh my goodness.
Yeah,
I was drunk going, "We're back. We're back.
Oh God.
MLS Cup 2022 going to Atlanta, baby."
And then we were gone.
That's hilarious.
Nah, man, but I got that what's that thing, that multi-game package? So it's it gives you like the biggest game. So it's not like I get to choose them. I wish I could. Yeah, I will freaking go against when we're playing Cincinnati or something, but Yeah,
There's
I
always
got I think the other one that I'm going to is against NYFC, which is like the last home game. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's gonna be
Decision
fun
day.
too. Yeah.
But that would be fun. Maybe it's like, we're 2 points off like the supporter shield or something. That would be a big one. Or maybe
Goodbye.
fighting
Good
to get
day.
maybe a
Stop doing
maybe
illegal stuff, bro.
maybe getting into the playoffs, maybe getting relegated. I don't know.
All right, all right, guys, man.
Okay. Good day.
Jesus, man. All right, guys.
He's gone. He wants his nap.
Yeah, but damn, bro. You talking about relegation? Hold on, let me understand before we end up talking nonsense
Playing
on here.
FM. I don't know about you.